Cognitive psychology is a field of psychology that studies mental processes. Mental processes include concepts such as thoughts, memory, perception, and information processing. Information processing is the sensing of a stimulus by sense organs, processing by the brain, and then an action is decided. For example, John will see the ball coming towards him, thus causing him to make a decision as to whether the ball is on his forehand or backhand. He will then have to make the appropriate shot. John's cognitive processing may be clouded by the fact that people attacked him in the past, thus putting extra pressure on him to perform well. This pressure will make him act differently on the court by processing stimulus wrong, and this will make him more aggressive when he is unsuccessful. For example, when he hits himself in the head with his racket. When John is playing, it may be in front of a crowd. This will bring about two types of social facilitation: intentional overload and distraction conflict. According to the social cognitive model theory, if someone believes in themselves to do well, they will perform well. For example, if John were to believe in himself, then he will perform a lot better. He can do this by using cognitive approaches such as self-talk and imagery.
When analysing John's personality, we should consider Isaac's trait theory so we may justify his actions from his personality. From our analysis, John is considered to be introverted and unstable characteristics due to the fact he loses his composure with ease. As stated, he will make a good shot but still tell himself it's not good enough. Therefore, John is exhibiting irrational thought processes. His immediate reaction will be to vent his frustration at himself and at times hitting his head with his racket. You could argue this to be anxiety caused by the presence of a crowd, meeting the introvert traits, as he constantly feels he must prove himself to those who doubted him, showing his lack of self-efficacy. We could further our analysis of John by conducting Cattell's 16-factor questionnaire. This would give us a more concise and specific look into John's personality, allowing us to pinpoint precise factors, evaluate them, and correct them conveniently and effectively to allow John to perform to his truest potential.
Anxiety causes arousal levels to increase, thus some anxiety is good. It allows the performer to be closer to reaching their optimum arousal levels, hence improving performance. But too much anxiety for the individual as all performers are different due to everyone having different personalities, level of performance, etc., will cause over-arousal, hence hindering performance. Due to John being introverted and unstable, he has a predisposition to become anxious during performance. This is because he wants to prove those who wrongfully doubt his ability, placing him in a more uncomfortable situation as this puts unneeded pressure on himself. Introverts tend not to deal with pressure very well and make poor choices in competitive situations due to him becoming overly anxious. This is due to anxiety causing frustration. This is because anxiety has a negative effect on performance, and once John becomes consciously aware that that's what's occurring, he becomes frustrated as he knows how well he can perform and wants to play better. He can't do this though due to the fact that anxiety has made his arousal levels rise over his optimum level. This is because the pressure he puts on himself to succeed in performance. This anxiety and frustration must be controlled to prevent over-arousal. To do this, we would employ stress management techniques. Arousal is a performer's readiness to execute a movement or action. Arousal can be split into three components: emotional or affective arousal, physiological arousal, and psychological arousal. Arousal is a chemical change that, depending on its level and the type of arousal, can increase or decrease performance. Over-arousal causes the performer to not make clear decisions. This because the over-arousal makes the performer feel pressured. They feel like they have no time, thus incorrect thought processes occur. This applies to John as he becomes over-aroused during performance due to the pressure he places on himself. Due to him being introverted and having unstable traits, he is more predisposed to suffering with over-arousal more due to his threshold for optimum arousal being lower than another performer of the same standard of performance. Looking at John, we can see that his arousal types affect him very much so, as his frustration is caused due to his effective arousal becoming too high. This is partially why he hits himself, as he can't control his emotions when over-arousal occurs, thus just lashes out in frustration. It's also partially due to over-cognitive arousal, as cognitive arousal is thought processes. Therefore, when this occurs, his decisions get impaired due to irrational thought processes. This is when he hits himself also, but can also be poor shot choice, etc.
To help John overcome these psychological issues and barriers, we have come up with some correctional methods / techniques he may find useful in emotional anxiety management. By using biofeedback, John will be able to visibly see how his body physiologically reacts to his psychological stress while he plays. For example, we can equip John with a heart monitor while he rests throughout the day in a non-competitive exercise and then in a competitive sporting situation. This will allow John to see how his heart rate reacts to his mental process. Self-talk would be a great intervention method for him to utilise and calm himself and stay focused in situations he struggles with. Another tennis player who does this is Andy Murray, a well-established professional. During games, you'll be able to see Murray using self-talk throughout his matches to ensure he stays focused and he doesn't lose his head. John could use this to the same effect, and with the help of the biofeedback, he'll know exactly when to implement this for it to have as great of effect positively on his performance.